Hey everybody, so today we're going to be troubleshooting an overheating issue with a 2014 Kia Sorento. So we are throwing a P0117 code, which supposedly is the coolant temperature sensor or thermostat. Could be a lot of things. So we're going to go ahead and let the engine cool off, and then we'll get into the troubleshooting procedures. All right guys, so this normally wouldn't be my first step of troubleshooting, but right now, since we just got done driving, I'm gonna go ahead and just do it now. So our temperature right now is reading normal. It's maybe a little bit above normal. We see that our temperature sensor is getting voltage. Doesn't technically mean that it's putting out a good signal though. So this thermostat usually opens up at 185. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and feel this top radiator hose as it's running, because there should be coolant running through it. And I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but it feels like there's not really anything going through it. Usually the hose will have some pressure built up in there. You can kind of feel the water running through it. So that could be an indicator of the thermostat, or it could be an indicator of low coolant. So I'm gonna let it cool off after I kill it, and then we're gonna check the coolant level and look for leaks, because that would normally be the first step in troubleshooting if your vehicle is not hot yet. So we'll do that. All right, so we're cooled off. Y'all probably can't see in there, but there's like no coolant in there at all. I don't know how it works. Maybe it's throwing a code because there's like no coolant getting to the thermostat at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to fill this up, and then I'm gonna be able to check for leaks, hopefully, because right now I don't see any leaks. But maybe after I fill it up, then I'll get something. So we'll go ahead and fill that up real fast. Here's the recommended coolant for the vehicle. I only have a gallon for right now, so in this video I'm probably just going to put this in there and then top it off with some water, and then later on then I'll have to drain some out and then put this stuff back in it. All right, so we just put a little bit of that stuff in there, well, almost the whole thing actually. And you can kind of see the bubbles. So we're gonna have air pockets because it was so empty. So what we're gonna do, since I don't have like the bleeding funnel or whatever, we're going to start the vehicle with the cap off, and then we're going to fill it as it goes. Now just be careful for this. You know, you don't want it to overflow on you. So let's go ahead and start the vehicle, and then we'll see if it sucks some down. All right, so we just started the vehicle, and you can already see it in there, that movement. So there's a little bit of air pockets coming out of there, and it's already sucks a little bit down. So basically, guys, what you're gonna do is you're just gonna keep monitoring it, and then keep filling it as it gets low, and that should push all the air out of it. So I'm not gonna record it because it could take a little bit, but that's what you're looking for. You're gonna look to make sure you don't have any more air pockets. You'll see bubbles maybe, or it'll burp itself sometimes that you'll notice. So just keep doing all that until you get a still coolant, and it's all the way topped off. So you see some bubbles right there. Another thing you can do to help burp it is just squeeze this hose right here. There's probably about to be some that's gonna come out because it's kind of full, but if you squeeze the hose, you'll see it move. I'm not gonna let it overflow, but yeah, just squeeze this so it kind of pumps it, and that'll help it settle down in there as well. All right, so after you get it topped off and you feel like you got all the air out of it, just put the cap back on it, and then just let it run for a little bit, let it build some pressure in there. I'm gonna let mine get back up to temperature so I can feel the hose again and see if I have any pressure coming through it. So let me go ahead and do that. If y'all guys have enough coolant in there, then you probably won't have to do this step. But this could be the issue why it's overheating in the first place and throwing that code. So as it's running, whenever you want to inspect it for leaks, I know it's kind of hard to see, but you do have a radiator drain cock down there. So you can look down there towards the bottom of the radiator for leaks. And then your thermostat housing is back here where this hose goes to. So if you notice that there's any moisture or coolant maybe dripping from there, or you can smell it, then you probably have a leak back there. And then your bottom radiator hose is right down here. So you could look down there for leaks as well. Or of course, anything on the ground. So we're gonna let this get up to temperature, and I'm gonna keep inspecting the hose, and then after that I'm gonna test drive it and see if it still gets hot. All right, so we're sitting at about 185 at idle. We've been sitting about like that for about 5 minutes now. So I do feel some pressure coming through this hose now, and you can kind of feel the water going through it. By the way, be careful when you're doing this because it's hot. Like I'm doing it because I don't really care, but don't burn yourself doing that. So I do feel some water going through there now, and that's where I did not before. So that's a good sign. So let's close it down. Our gauge is looking pretty good right now. We are still sitting at like 185. So I'm going to do a test drive real quick and monitor the water temperature and also on the gauge as well. And then we'll see what it does. All right, guys. So we've been driving down the road for probably about like a good 10 minutes or so, maybe a little bit less. But we got it up to about 75 miles an hour, holding at that. And our temperature down here, sorry if you can't see, I got my eyes on the road. But we're at 192. So our cooling system is working like it should as of right now, and it's cooling great. So we don't have a code back, so we're gonna keep on driving it, get it back to the house, and then hopefully it's still gonna be good. But I mean, it's doing great. 189 to I haven't seen it get over 195. So good news, good news. All right, guys, so we've been idling here for quite a bit now, 5-10 minutes. Our ambient temperature, by the way, is about like 94, 95 degrees. We're still sitting at 192. So yeah, I think we got the problem fixed here. We don't have any more engine lights. There's another code that it threw as well. I want to say it was like P1326. Basically it was like some crazy code, but basically it threw that code because it went into limp mode. So if you look up a description of what that code pulls up, it says stuff like connecting rods could be worn and stuff like that. So if you see that code right after your vehicle does all this stuff, don't be scared by it, because it threw it because it went into limp mode, and this car will go into limp mode if it gets all the way up to 284. Now, as far as the coolant goes, what probably happened is it was low on coolant to begin with, and it ended up overheating and probably overflowed whenever the customer was driving the vehicle back home, and lost a little bit more of the coolant. So yeah, the code is gone. So that is a pretty quick fix for that. And yeah, hopefully this helped some of y'all. And yeah, that's why you do troubleshooting, because you could save some money instead of buying sensors and buying thermostats and spending all that time to fix it or pay someone to fix it. You could just be low on coolant. So all right, guys, thank y'all for watching. Like and subscribe to the video if this helped y'all out at all. Thank you very much.